Be honest with me for a second. Have you ever ended a workday just staring at your screen, feeling completely drained, even though you haven't lifted anything heavier than your coffee cup? It really makes you wonder, are our incredibly smart machines actually making our jobs easier? Or are they just making us more exhausted in completely new ways?
Okay, let's dive into this. Welcome to today's Explainer, where we are unpacking some truly fascinating research on how the future of work is literally being redesigned to protect and empower us as human beings. We're moving way beyond just making sure your office chair is the right height, and we're looking at how we actually survive and thrive in an era of hyper-connected, artificially intelligent workspaces. Here's our roadmap for today. First, the history of human factors. Second, the Industry 4.0 workplace. Third, the rise of cybergonomics. Fourth, tech-driven worker well-being. And fifth, Industry 5.0 and sustainability. Let's get right into it. Section 1. The history of human factors. You know, for most of industrial history, we were basically forced to fit the mold of our machines. It's wild to see how fast things evolved. Back in the early 1900s, this concept called Taylorism broke tasks down into tiny, repetitive parts just to maximize efficiency. But it prioritized output entirely over worker well-being, which led to massive physical fatigue. Thankfully, by the mid-20th century, the focus shifted toward actual safety and reducing physical hazards. Then, in the late 20th century, computers entered the chat, and the discipline had to adapt to human-computer interaction. And that brings us to today, the present era of smart factories and Industry 4.0.
Just think about the massive shift we've made. Historically, the traditional focus of ergonomics was all about the physical skeleton, your posture, biomechanics, lifting heavy objects. But today, the modern challenge is all about the brain. We have transitioned from an era defined by physical bodily strain to one defined by mental sweat. The cognitive workload required to manage the complex data and digital systems in our modern jobs is just immense.
So to handle all of this, ergonomics, which is also known as human factors, has expanded into three distinct pillars. It's not just physical ergonomics anymore. We now heavily rely on cognitive ergonomics, which deals with mental workload, stress, and human-computer interaction. And then there's organizational ergonomics, which looks at the bigger structural picture, teamwork, communication systems, and workplace policies. Together, they aim to optimize both the overall system's performance and our personal well-being.
Moving on to Section 2. The Industry 4.0 workplace.
Right now, digital burnout is a very real threat. Take a traditionally manual sector that is currently undergoing massive digital transformation, the construction industry. Recent research shows that the major drivers pushing construction firms into Industry 4.0 aren't actually just the technologies themselves. It takes top management support, a very pro-digital organizational culture, and pressure from evolving customer requirements to force this kind of massive operational change.
And what does that intervention actually look like on the ground? Well, construction firms are primarily adopting three highly complex technologies. First, Building Information Modeling, or BIM, which are essentially massive 3D digital blueprints. Second, Cloud Computing Integration. And third, the Internet of Things, meaning thousands of real-time tracking sensors spread across a site. While these tools yield incredible benefits like slashing costs, imagine being a site manager suddenly tasked with monitoring digital twins and non-stop sensor data all day. Your cognitive load instantly skyrockets. Which brings us to Section 3, the rise of cybergonomics.
So the crucial point is, to handle this massive mental strain, academics have proposed a totally new solution, cybergonomics. It's exactly what it sounds like, merging the prefix cyber with ergonomics. It is specifically the study of how human performance interacts with cyber technologies. The entire goal here is to study the benefits and the immense challenges of these emerging Industry 4.0 technologies and deliberately adapt them to our physical, mental, and even spiritual limitations, rather than just forcing us to deal with the overload.
Going back to that concept of cognitive load for a second, imagine a digital dashboard just throwing 50 different alerts at you all at once. That level of complexity leads straight to decision fatigue, increased stress, and ultimately human error. Cybernomics steps in to simplify that data presentation. It demands intuitive interfaces and real-time feedback so workers can actually process the information efficiently without burning out. All right, Section 4, Tech-Driven Worker Well-Being.
So how do we actually implement these cybergonic principles out in the field? Ironically enough, we use advanced technology to protect us from advanced technology.
We're talking about wearable tech that actively tracks physiological data, like your posture or muscle fatigue. We have augmented and virtual reality for immersive training. We're utilizing AI predictive analytics to foresee risks, and IoT-enabled smart workstations that actually adapt to your body in real time. It's the concept of a smart environment that actively monitors and protects you.
Think about virtual reality training for a moment. Imagine that construction worker we talked about earlier. Instead of learning how to handle a highly complex, potentially dangerous piece of automated machinery on a live site, they put on a headset. They practice high-risk tasks, optimize their physical movements, and simulate equipment malfunctions in a completely risk-free virtual space. They've drastically reduced their risk of physical injury before they ever step foot onto the actual site. It's a real game changer.
This all builds into an entirely new safety philosophy. Traditional ergonomics was largely reactive, right? Treating a repetitive strain injury or fixing a workflow only after an employee got hurt. But AI predictive analytics completely flips the script to being proactive. By analyzing patterns from wearable sensors, AI can anticipate when a specific task might cause physical strain, adjust for your fatigue levels, and stop the injury before it even starts.
Finally, Section 5, Industry 5.0 and Sustainability.
So what happens when we finally push past the efficiency-obsessed focus we're stuck in today? We get a massive paradigm shift. Industry 4.0, which we're currently in, is heavily technology-focused, driven by automation, and puts efficiency above all else. But researchers are already mapping out Industry 5.0. This next era recognizes the limits of fully autonomous systems and pivots to being human-centric, resilient, and environmentally sustainable. It's about placing human well-being directly at the core of technological advancement.
And nothing brilliantly illustrates this Industry 5.0 mindset quite like collaborative robots, or cobots for short. Unlike traditional industrial robots that are caged off and designed to entirely replace human labor, cobots are built to work right alongside us in dynamic environments. They offer physical support, letting the robot do the heavy lifting, literally, while you keep the cognitive control. It's harmonious human-machine collaboration.
What's really cool is how this human-centric approach is perfectly symbiotic with environmental sustainability, a concept known as green ergonomics. It just makes sense, right? A degraded environment simply cannot support human health. So green ergonomics looks at implementing IoT-enabled smart workstations that automatically turn off lights and adjust the heating to save energy. It prioritizes maximizing natural lighting and ventilation, choosing sustainable materials for office equipment, and greatly improving virtual work-from-home technologies to reduce the massive resources spent on travel.
The evolution of work is pretty clear at this point. We've got from treating humans as cogs in a purely physical industrial machine to recognizing the severe cognitive toll of our digital age, and finally moving toward a cyber-ergonomic future where AI and robotics are actually tailored to support our well-being and our planet. So I'll leave you with this to think about as you go back to your day. Look around your own workspace. Is your workplace adapting to your human limitations, or are you still forcing yourself to adapt to the machines?